all that fast-paced action you just witnessed has amounted to this. Somebody jokingly said, ah, the old Craigslist rebuild. And I'm not disputing that. So, yeah, I honed the cylinders, moved the crank around and around after cleaning it, honed the cylinders, got a new gasket kit, so I resealed it, pretty much put it back together. Spray can, freshen up job, new water pump, new gaskets, a new fuel pump, new distributor. Thanks, Summit.
Thank you, Summit.
And thanks to our viewers, this unique carburetor is from a Ford product, like a Falcon, Ranchero, something,
Oh yeah, that's
not a
right.
Jeep carburetor. So towards the end of that high-speed video, you just see like tick, 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 real fast. But what I had to do was pound on this valve cover with a hammer. That's why I was fitting it back and forth so many times, because the fuel float bowl is just a little bit large. So everything clears. I cycled the engine. See, now it's loose, so you got nothing hitting. I rotated the engine a number of times. Doesn't interfere with the valve springs at all. So you can see this is what the engine looks like inside. I mean, it's a very clean engine. So will it smoke upon startup? Will it run? I think so. Remains to be seen. But that's where we're at. Look
We're
at this,
getting closer.
both sides. Yeah, and this isn't like a huge custom fabrication project, so we're going to short step to the end of this in a few more episodes. We're waiting on the transmission. I mean, thank you, Chris, for all the parts, for sure. Unfortunately, when we brought the transmission, if everybody remembers from the beginning, someone had cobbled together a Toyota engine to that T90 Jeep transmission, and they were probably banging gears and running the heck out of this thing. So we found out it needs it needed the main shaft, it needed the whatever shaft, it needed the cluster gear shaft bearing. So it's getting a total rebuild by a pro, and we will do the install when that returns.
I'm so excited. I got my new seats waiting. And pretty soon, I want to paint this thing.
Yeah. Got a fresh aluminum radiator off of eBay. Heck yeah. Reasonably priced. Chris, thank you for that tip. We got that one. And it was an interesting thing. The starter for this engine is like expensive from the typical Jeep supplier. Crown Automotive's one, Olmix, there's a few others. Kaiser Willys, we've been ordering from ArmyJeep.com, different things. And you know me being a cheapskate, right? Always looking for the budget thing. I ordered 2 starters that a part number whatever claimed it would fit this, and no bueno. Check it out. Here's the flywheel. You can see how coarse the teeth are on that. So this one was what was sent by one company. Look at that. Definite mismatch. Whoa, we're gonna have to return that. Strike 2. Not naming any names because I'm not feeling like that today. But these both claim that they fit this. This is basically a 53-ish CJ2 M3 8 whatever A1 thing. A little bit closer on that. But look,
Still too small.
that's not going to engage. That's just going to strip everything as soon as it hits. Even if this bolts up, that ain't going to work. So return number 2 being processed. So in talking with Chris, he's like, you know what, man? That's some military spec stuff. He said, I bet that old starter would fire right back up. So that's over here. Let me grab it.
Wow.
Right? I was like, are you serious, dude? He's like, I'm telling you, man. So a little backstory. This morning, I took the air gun and blew out this. He's like, no, it seems like it wants to turn. So this thing was crunching and grinding and all the things. I flipped it around, blew it out, took this part off. You can see the brushes. I mean, pretty much everything short of a black widow nest flew out of this starter. But look, it's quiet. It was like crunching, grinding. So this is a 6-volt unit, I think.
So how old is this starter, you think?
1953.
Dang, I love it.
It's the real deal. It's not a aftermarket thing.
What are we looking at? Wow.
So let's talk about Dr. Frankenstein for a moment. How did he reanimate the dead?
He hooked up batteries. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Come on. Live. Oh, tell me I just broke it.
Did you just break it?
I think so. I think it's just dirty. Live. Maybe that's all it had in it. Well, that's an odd twist of events. Let me clean this. I have faith. The gag didn't go as planned. I hate when that happens. You did the Frankenstein thing. All right. Take 2 on the Dr. Frankenstein experiment. Can't argue with that. How long will it last? I have no idea, but it should start the engine. Saved us $300 on this day. The edit's going to make that look fantastic.
It really is.
That's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about sheet metal. There's this guy who has a tractor. He drives around here moving all kinds of cars, and he really messed this thing up.
You damaged it?
The truth comes out. Yes, I did.
When did you do that?
Months ago.
Before we made this a project?
Yeah, when I was moving around back there. Yeah.
Because originally, for those of you that don't know or newly signing on and thinking we're ruining this Jeep, what was going to happen to this Jeep?
This was slated for the scrap heap.
The Crusher.
The body does not belong to this chassis and vice versa. Chassis came from Chris, body came from Tom. They were just, they were in limbo, waiting to go to the great
It was potentially going to be
scrapyard
a
in the
project
sky.
on Full Custom Garage.
That didn't happen.
And somebody else got a Jeep, whatever. I don't want to talk about it. But
Somebody put Jamie in the corner.
somebody put Jamie in the corner. We won't name names. So I wanted this Jeep. So yes, I'm having Ian doing some modification. But for those of you that were appreciative of us just not letting this thing completely go to the crusher and supportive, and you're just like saying how fun they are to drive and stuff, we hear you, we appreciate you. And those of you that think we're ruining it, on you, because we're not.
There's only one thing.
Where's your build?
Only one thing I can say about that, because it's very few opportunities you have to say, the crusher.
Anyway, so back to this.
Let's go into the crusher. So I hit this with a tractor. I creased it up pretty good. We're going to try to mock up this nose, because I thought I was going to install the engine, transmission, and then get to this, but we're kind of running out of things to do. This isn't going to be a full restoration. We're going to clean up this body a bit and respray it, but I don't want it to look all out of shape. You know, there's some rust dents.
I like some of the dents though.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's part of what the allure of this Jeep is just all the dents. It's so old and it's so vintage.
When we drove other Ian's Jeep, I was just like into it.
Oh, I
It was like an
love
old
his
pair of
Jeep.
jeans, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It
I
just
can't even wait to get this baby out
it
there.
operated perfectly, but it had like the authentic old school
Yeah.
flavor.
And at King of the Hammers, there were so many people in old Jeeps. Oh.
Yeah,
So next year we're undecided whether we're gonna bring Persephone, my Flake Dune buggy, or the Jeep.
there's options. I'm going to take off these little hood hold downs because we're going to get into some hammering. So other than the wind blowing that windshield forward and smashing the glass,
Hold on, let me show everyone. Oops.
yeah, so that was my oops. Also, what's happened to the hood is it's got kind of turned upside down a little bit in its shape. Flat hood, flat fender, right? But that's not really the case here. All this is disconnected. So see how this is buckling?
Mm-hmm.
Both sides are like that. And also, it's
Mm-hmm.
dished like that. So that whole thing we're dealing with the carburetor, we can use that room.
Oh yeah, duh.
So we're going to want to tidy it up a bit. And also, look at that. You got about a 1/2 inch of bow in here.
Oh wow.
So that's what we're going to work on today. And then mock this nose in place. And there was one thing you said about that grill, I remember. But
Mm-hmm.
we'll get to that.
I think I should make a cameo today in this video.
All right.
I think I look really cute today.
I think so too. It's designer desert wear. So if you had to fix this, what would your first step be? Because you want to reverse engineer that damage. So what happened is, as I was towing the Jeep with the tractor, the bucket with the tractor was right here with a chain on it, and as I turned, the bucket went clink and just pushed all this down.
I would use a dolly.
I love it. See this high spot? It's supposed to be a flat fender. Does that look flat?
No.
No. It's a foo bar. Actually, it's not. It's effed up within repair.
Mm-hmm.
Foobar. F-U-W-R. Might have just created a new term. A dolly. I love that idea. So that's going to be a pretty substantial dolly. I was thinking we would use the anvil as a dolly.
Ooh.
What we want to do is get this edge on something to support it. I like it. Let's first hit it with the rubber. See if that'll help. Trying to take a gentler approach. No, that's not going to work. It's fouling here. This. Nope. So we're going to have to raise this up.
How do you do that?
I'm going to add a piece of something. Something. So just like what we did with the Zephyr front end, we're going to hammer on this and watch it all fall apart a few times. See, now it's clearing. Yeah, I can get this all the way. It needs to be like that. Like that. Swing this. Yeah, no, that's where it is. That's how far out it is.
Oh wow.
Then that's going to swing up. Let's work on this first. Bring that in. that up. Whatever works, right? Still way out. I bent this entire structure. I bent this. We're gonna do that, we're gonna put it in the vise. So you can see, if this is vertical, look how far smushed down this is.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God. It's
Starting to look
getting
like
there.
something. I'm gonna address this with a big old hunk of aluminum and another hammer. I'm gonna set this aluminum back here. We gotta hammer this out first. Got tab into position. I'm gonna work on this. This is up here. I'm gonna get the wooden hammer. Actually, I'm gonna get the slapper. Yeah, I don't use this tool enough. Guy who taught me the English wheel handed me this thing. So yeah, it's basically a big wooden slapper. So you can see this really out of shape, right? Oh, look when we get up here. That's our trouble right there. So we're gonna want to back that up. Something reasonably substantial. Give it a whack. The idea being that long, flat paddle is not the hammerhead. It's not a direct, simple pinpoint of energy. Look at that, flatten that sheet metal right out.
Mm-hmm.
You saw this crease here. I think I'm going to take this big rubber block and see if that doesn't just send it. See how it's shining up the high spot?
Mm-hmm.
Rubber's not letting it happen. That's better. I'm going to set this on the workbench now, this side down. Continue to pummel it. All right. So one of the things we've discussed in prior videos is I try to avoid using metal on metal unless it's really necessary. Look at that, it's still way out of shape. Wouldn't you say?
Yes.
So we're gonna have to bludgeon that a bit. So
Is this where you're going to have to do metal on metal?
yes. Yes, it is, nurse.
I need to put my ear
Oh yeah,
protection
no, we're
on.
not gonna just wail on it without warning. I'm gonna clamp this corner down tight. It's gonna be pretty violent.
I'm excited.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bludgeon it first, and then I'm gonna ask you to come in and do the detail work. So I'm gonna hold this because I have to stretch this out. I could cut it, re-weld it, but the more you bend this stuff, the stronger it gets. So I'm gonna try this. Cool thing about these is I can listen to my radio while I work. Cue the music, DJ. This is really dented. All right. That's vertical. And that's coming out better. I'm going to give you the opportunity to work this out. On a quick little lesson, and then you can tippity tap your way.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to get the block sander, and we're going to discuss this high point. It's just like the body work we were doing on the bug, believe it or not. Take your straight edge. See the road map?
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere it's shiny, you either got to go down, or everywhere it's dark, it's got to come up, one or the other. With the bug, what we're doing, because it was fiberglass, we couldn't really move this around, but with steel we can. A little tap tap, a little tap tap. What do you think? You want to give it a whirl?
Yes.
All right. I'll hold the camera. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Like you're swinging a baseball bat. Mm-hmm. Right. So there's a structure under here. Remember the thing I bent?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're not going to be hammering there at all.
Okay.
We're going to pay attention to this port.
Okay.
So
Do I use the dolly too?
yes, run your hand underneath. Identify where that structure is.
Okay, I feel the structure there.
Mm-hmm. You want to make a little chalk mark so you know?
Yes, where's chalk? So like make a chalk mark here?
I would like to see your best representation of how I would approach the situation with. You're going to need a squigglier line if you're going for my operation. There, somewhere in that general direction.
So that's the structure.
Ah.
And so then what? What's next?
Well, I would grab that aluminum block to your right, all the way down the table. And just kind of feel underneath where it's going to sit without hitting that structure.
It's like put like the aluminum block here and then hit down.
You're bringing it up to the top. Bring the aluminum to the top.
Mm-hmm.
So I would think I would hold it. I would hold it underneath, crossing that high spot like that.
Oh, and then hit up.
I would hold it underneath.
Oh, gotcha, gotcha.
Are you right or left-handed?
Both.
Okay. So you're gonna bring the aluminum without hitting my fingers.
I know.
I want to say that before we start. Move the aluminum block towards this where you feel it. You want it flat on this.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so your aluminum is pretty much bridging that area, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna start whacking on that high spot.
Okay.
How hollow it sounds?
Mm-hmm.
Continue banging that until you hear tink, tink, tink. And you can move it around. You have to whack it a little harder.
Am I?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I heard it.
I heard it too. You're working the whole panel. Move it over to here because you're going to start to sink all these high spots, and then you can work this one as well. So just move it around and you'll start to feel it come into shape.
Yeah,
You're getting closer.
Yeah, I heard that tink, tink, tink.
Mm-hmm.
So should I wait on this one?
You can work everything. Again, you're stuck because that brace is welded. You can work everything here all together.
I put my
Yep.
squiggly. That's working my muscles.
I heard it. Here when it ticks, you can move to the next area.
Jean would be very proud of me right now.
I think so.
Oh, wow. That looks good.
I agree. So check this out. I'm looking at this. This is low.
Yeah.
Why don't you put the aluminum on top
And
to
then
bring
hit
that
up.
up?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, anything, right. Put the aluminum that way, long ways.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And then you can go ting, 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 across that
Oh,
whole
gotcha.
surface.
That's a little trickier.
Yep. It's getting closer. Looking down
Mm-hmm.
the lane.
Should I still do like this? Bring this up?
Your Jeep.
Yes, it is.
You could do what you want.
You guys have no idea how badly I've wanted this Jeep.
Hearing it make contact. You're darn close.
Yeah, I hear it. I hear the difference.
Yep.
So that higher pitch.
That's the aluminum. You're hearing that transfer the energy right into the aluminum block.
Very cool.
There's a lot of professional gear that can make it that.
What do you think?
I like it a lot.
I think it looks great. Sweet.
Well, that's a wrap. No, it's not that easy. There's still a lot more to do.
Are you passing back the camera?
I think so. I'd like to make one reference at this point for note to the editor. Let's see how bad my camera work is in comparison to the Pro. I think it's probably a lot like that, but let's see.
Okay.
Okay. So the good news is this is pretty close to in shape. I could finish this up on the Jeep. That'll be a really strong buck because it'll be bolted in, and I can really level that out. The rest of the nose is looking good. That's on the ground here. We're gonna work on this hood and then mock it up, assemble it. You were saying you didn't like this net either, huh?
Yeah. Yes, I don't like the net. I think
All right.
it's UGLY. It ain't have no alibi.
Well,
Yeah. Well, and I do like the authentic look of the flat fender.
what is it? The 7-bar grill?
Yeah, and I just think that that's so cool. And the net
6
just,
bar. Now we're gonna dress this. It should be a pretty straightforward scene. I'm going to try to blast this with the big hammer to try to push this down to the table, and then we'll just pull these up and weld them. So it's going to require ear protection. I'm going to try to maximize the force of that hammer into this edge here. So I could feel, right there's the rock, see that?
mhm.
This is good. Right there's the problem. Same here. I'm going to take that big hammer and bang it right like that. Still low. Bring up these sides, see if we can't put some more action into it. I don't know how much these have to be curved, but I'd like to just bring it up as high as I can, weld it, and then try to bring it back. So you mentioned Gene earlier, and he taught me this cool trick about taking rust out of places that aren't accessible. See, we're going to want to weld this, so you can take this and get places. Right, you can get the tops really easy. But there's areas you won't be able to access. So he said, just take a drill, put it on high speed. You can noodle it right out in the corners. I thought that was brilliant. So simple, so old school, and it works awesome. It's basically a file, right? You just... You learn something from the old guys.
Thanks,
Just saying.
thanks, Gene.
Yeah, really cool. So, yeah, see that hinge lifts it. So I bring the hinge just off the table, and I'm going to put maybe a 1/8 shim. Maybe even larger. Oh no, there it is right there. Right there. Cool. So you can see that motion, right? Look at that. That brings it in substantially. It doesn't create a kink in that, so I'm going to spot weld that. Yeah, I'm not going to get too crazy on the welding because we might have to position it again once it's on the body. It could be drawn too far in. All right. I'm going to give this another round of action with the big hammer. Again, with steel, flat is flat, so to make it go too far outside of what we're trying to do, it's not going to happen. Not on a steel table. So now if I have to, I can shim this here and put a little more crown on, but let's see where we're at.
Did you fix it?
Get a star for today's achievement.
These old cars, they want to be in shape. They want...
Scratch's garage. He just did an episode. Metal has memory.
That's so neat. I love that it just like pops back into shape.
Yeah. Groovy, baby. Groovy. All right. Let's do a quick mock-up on these assemblage. See what it looks like with its nose on.
Excited.
So I'm just going to give it a little footsie because it's going to spend its life upside down from now on. A little stress. A little stress in the upward direction. Yeah, that'll help clear the carburetor as well. Cool. Definitely going to take 2 people to assemble this once it's painted. We can get away with it for now. That guy and his fancy tractor messing everything up.
Mm-hmm.
Old age is really, really not fun. Your hands don't work like they used to. It's the craziest thing. Tell your fingers to move. They don't. Right. Yeah, I definitely have to get into some sheet metal trimming because this chassis is not for this body. So you can see the difference. Let's close the hood and see what develops. Oh, it looks way better.
Yeah.
Way better. Yeah, and I can curl this in pretty easily. Looks like this is gonna have to come out a bit. Getting close. So this, hard to see from before, but this was way out of shape. Now it looks good.
Yeah. And just like an aging person, nothing is perfect on our bodies. As we
So,
get older, we get beat up and damaged. And I like that part of this Jeep is it's not gonna look perfect. She's seeing some things.
well, you've come to the right shop for that type of operation. Shall we cut off the screen and take a look?
Yes, I want to know.
I'm not going to cut the screen because I think it's kind of cool. Just the brackets. Oh, there went that. Aha! Is that the Jeep you were dreaming of?
So
Sweet. So yeah, you can see that this side is a high. It's hitting the shock tower. Not a huge hurdle. I'll clean this all up and make it nice, but just for conversation's sake, once you get that out of the way, that settles right down. Yeah. Cool.
that looks so good. I can't wait to paint it and have seats and drive it.
Yeah, so it'll have a winch on the front, and we're gonna do something similar with the bumper. Some with that piece of material, plate for a winch. Bada bing, bada boom.
Love it.